It's a Minimalist Monday edition of Optimal Living Daily, episode 647, the 3-step process to redefine your relationship with stuff and how it will change your life, by Courtney Carver of BeMoreWithLess.com. And I'm Justin Malik, your personal narrator, reading to you every day, just like an audiobook, but free of charge. And that's in big part thanks to SaneBox, who sponsored this episode. If you're not at Inbox Zero, or if you have a ton of emails backed up, you got to check them out. SaneBox sorts through your email and moves all of the trivial stuff into a different folder, so the only messages in your inbox are the ones you actually want to see. You can get a free 14-day trial by visiting sanebox.com/old. That's sanebox.com/OLD. And I have that linked in this episode's description. And now let's get right to today's post and start optimizing your life. The 3-step process to redefine your relationship with stuff and how it will change your life, by Courtney Carver of BeMoreWithLess.com. I've been thinking about what has changed since I started living with less. There are the obvious changes, like living in a smaller space, leaving the corporate work world, having time to do things I care about. And then there are the not so obvious invisible changes and benefits. I'm more comfortable being quiet. I don't think I'm wasting time when I'm dreaming about things that sound crazy. I've stopped trying to prove myself, and one of the biggest changes that happened quietly in the background is that I redefined my relationship with stuff. I used to depend on stuff to tell my story. The books I owned showed that I was smart and had many interests. My cosmetics collection told the story of how put together I was and how I deserved expensive things for working so hard. A closet full of brand name clothes proved that I was successful and had good taste. These sentimental items from my past painted a picture of a happy childhood. There were so many other things in my home and life that were telling a story, but it stopped being my story. I knew that I was more than the stuff I owned, but all of that clutter became so noisy that I wasn't really sure what the story was anymore. All of that changed when I redefined my relationship with stuff. It didn't take hours of therapy or much thought at all. The mental inward shift came from consistent outward action. The 3-step process to redefine your relationship with stuff. Number 1, live without it. You don't have to get rid of it all to understand what it would be like to live without your stuff. Instead, experiment by trying a packing party or Minimalist Fashion Challenge Project 333. Getting a little space between you and your stuff adds so much perspective to what's really adding value to your life and what stuff is just a distraction or a security blanket. Enjoy the space you create and use it to determine what comes back in. After your experiment, let go of everything you didn't miss, need, or want. Number 2, let it flow. Think about the volume of stuff that has come and gone throughout your life. The other day I was walking in the city and passed a vintage thrift store. Out on display was my very first telephone. It was a Snoopy phone that my parents gave me for my 10th birthday. I remember thinking how cool it was because it had push buttons instead of a dial. Seeing it decades later made me smile, but it never crossed my mind to bring it home. I used to lend books with my name written on the inside front cover for a better chance at having them returned. Today, I pass books and other things on and give freely. When you have a looser grip on your stuff, you can let go more easily when it doesn't serve you or if someone needs it more. Number 3, recognize that the best things aren't things. Make a list of the 10 best things that happened in your life this year. How many of those things can you buy at the mall or shove in a drawer? The things that are shaping our lives, lifting us up, and connecting us to what matters most aren't things. These 3 steps will help you redefine your relationship with stuff. As you declutter and live with less, you'll want and need less. Clutter attracts clutter. Space attracts space, and calm attracts calm. Create what you want by including more of it in your life. Why redefining your relationship with stuff will change your life. Number 1, you will compare less. The best thing about my relationship with stuff is that it is not defined by what other people think or what other people own. I don't feel compelled to keep up with the Joneses or anyone else. I could compare and say that I probably own more kitchen appliances and utensils than Joshua Fields Millburn of the Minimalists. My small apartment is almost 6 times larger than Tammy Strobel's tiny house. Comparison is how I used to measure, but redefining my relationship with stuff gave me freedom from comparison. Knowing that I own more or less than someone else doesn't define what's right for me. Comparison is not part of the equation in the changes I'm making in my life because I've determined what's enough for me and my family. I can be inspired by my friends Joshua and Tammy without having to replicate their journey. When you can eliminate comparison, you find happiness in doing what you know is right for you. Number 2, you'll have fewer attachments. As I continue to declutter and downsize and determine what enough really means, I become less and less attached to stuff. And since I become less attached to stuff, I become less attached to expectations and outcomes and more comfortable with uncertainty. When you become less attached, it's easier to let go of anything that holds you back. Number 3, you can make decisions without factoring in your stuff. When you redefine your relationship with stuff, you won't feel compelled to take it with you. If you move across the country, you don't have to pay thousands of dollars for moving vans or storage facilities. You can choose where you want to live without closet space and the number of cabinets in the kitchen being the deciding factor. When you can make decisions without factoring in your stuff, you are free. Number 4, your stuff stops owning you. When you redefine your relationship with stuff, you can sell or give away almost everything you own without the mental or emotional anguish that comes when your stuff owns you. Look around. What owns you? If you keep dusting and moving around a single vase and never put flowers in it, it owns you. If you're paying hundreds of dollars a month for a car because it has heated seats and satellite radio, it owns you. If there's art shoved in your closet instead of hanging on your wall, it owns you. That pile of paper on your desk that you keep organizing owns you too. Those are just examples, but if you really notice your stuff, you can easily determine what you own because it makes your life better, and you would just as easily recognize the things that own you. Replace that stuff with freedom and joy. Number 5, you can be happy anytime. When you redefine your relationship with stuff, you learn that happiness is a choice and that it doesn't come from the mall. When your happiness and other emotions aren't tied to the stuff you own and the stuff you wished you owned, you can be happy anytime. You just listened to the post titled The 3-Step Process to Redefine Your Relationship with Stuff and How It'll Change Your Life by Courtney Carver of BeMoreWithLess.com. Big thanks to SaneBox for believing in this podcast and playing a huge part in keeping it running. SaneBox is a great way to build that habit of keeping your inbox nice and sane. Organizing your email inbox can be really difficult, I would know. And if you feel like you can't keep up with it, check out sanebox.com/old. SaneBox will remove all of the junk so you can focus on messages that actually matter. I love the feature called the black hole. If you move an email into that folder, you'll never hear from the sender again. And that's different from unsubscribing because unsubscribing lets spammers know that your email is actually being checked. The black hole, on the other hand, is invisible to them. It will save you a ton of time and your sanity. And we worked out a special deal for listeners of this show. Visit sanebox.com/old. And they'll not only give you a free 2-week trial, but also throw in an extra $25 credit on top of it. You don't have to enter your credit card information unless you decide to buy. Just try it out and see how it helps with your email inbox. Again, you get all of that at sanebox.com/OLD. That's sanebox.com/old. And I have it linked in this episode's description. I'll leave it there for today. Hope you're having a great start to your week. Tomorrow I'll be narrating a book for a change. So I'll see you there where your optimal life awaits.
Hey, this is Dan from the Optimal Finance Daily podcast, which is a lot like this show, except more focused on personal finance. Justin handpicks the best posts he can find from blogs and authors like Ramit Sethi, Mr. Money Mustache, and more, and I read them to you 5 days a week. So if you enjoy this podcast, come on over and subscribe to Optimal Finance Daily too. And together, we'll optimize your financial life.
You've been listening to Optimal Living Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.